Hello everyone, Drew here for Drew Underground Gaming and Underground Gaming Podcast here on YouTube.com, back with episode 5 of Underground Gaming here on YouTube.com on this fine Saturday night at a little after 8 p.m. as we intended to go live here. Joining me tonight are the usual suspects. First, my younger brother, Desert Nord 26, aka Desert Nord. Hey Rob. And also joining us, freshly off of getting canceled off Twitter, Joshy064. Hey, Joshy.
Hey, give me 1 minute. I gotta go downstairs and do a phone call real quick. So give me like at least 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good. So while Joshy's taking his phone call, what have you been up to gaming related lately?
No, I've just been trying to finish up best I can. I'm doing a lot more dungeons because of the Undaunted events on ESO. So I've been doing a lot more group dungeons than I was before. It's kind of really the main thing I have to do left. So I'm still aching for more people to play with because it's more fun with
I
people.
booted up Cyberpunk for a minute last night. I'm like, yeah, I'll look into this later, given the recent updates and whatever's going on with that. And
I heard there was a big update in that.
Yeah. And yeah, I'll look into that probably later on tonight. But on a side note, next Saturday there won't be one of these streams next Saturday because next Saturday at 7 p.m. Central Time I will be going live on Jet Sparks' Twitch channel with him and Bears to play Halo Master Chief Collection, specifically Halo 3's multiplayer with them. So.
Yep.
Nice, I'm back.
What's that?
One thing about the Master Chief Collection, I heard they canceled microtransactions, so there's that. So.
Well, that's a good thing. At least in my opinion, anyway.
Keep it more competitive.
Yeah. But, like I said... What's that?
Yeah, since one person quit, they said that basically they took out the microtransactions, so there's that.
So, and speaking of one person leaving, 343, the head of 343 has quit at Xbox, and that's the first topic that we have tonight. So, thank you. So, thank you for a good segue there, Joshy. So, the head of 343 is gone. And now there's no microtransactions. Coincidence? What do you guys think? Nord?
Well, it doesn't seem, though, that it was really kind of anything the company decided because it was a personal family medical issue. So the leaving of the studio founder and head is actually more a personal matter than anything the company decided to do.
Okay.
So, I mean, whether it reflects on any decision-making or anything, I doubt it, because it's just a coincidence, really.
Okay.
But that's the long and short of that.
Joshy, any thoughts?
It's what is it? It's like a teeter-totter. Basically, it could be one thing and then could be another ball too. But it could mean that like she's basically out for the time or whatnot. They said, "Oh, go ahead and take out microtransactions," and she's out for good, or it's just that I don't know. It's just
it's possible that her stepping away was actually what allowed them to do this. Perhaps.
It's like a slippery slope. So basically, we don't even know if she'll come back later on, back or what. Even if she does come back, if this is like I know it's like a emergency that she left, but if it's like a very, very, very dire emergency and she doesn't come back, so there goes that. So I don't know. Like prayers to her and her family, hopefully they're safe. Not though, but it's just like if she's not coming back, that's a good forward thing though. But if she's coming back and also microtransaction back on, so I don't know what that means.
Well, then you would know that that's why it happened. And you would know at that point that those two events were linked together. If that happens.
Mm-hmm. So, on that note, speaking of microtransactions and controversies, Assassin's Creed Mirage has officially been revealed recently at Ubi Forward or Ubi Play or whatever it's called these days. And it came up as the listed ESRB rating on the Xbox Live storefront as 18 plus or adults only by the ESRB due to real gambling. However, recently on social media, people that worked on the game or have connection with the game have said that the game will not have real-time gambling in it. So I throw it to you. So I throw it to Joshy first. What are your thoughts on any of this?
It's a slippery slope as well too, because basically, you have the I believe one of the football game, I believe, like Madden.
Yeah,
I think it was, or it was basketball, something.
it's both actually. It's both actually that have.
They did have. Yeah, because they did actually have an actual slot machine in the game, and basically they made it eat everybody. It was okay.
Yeah, and those.
Do it here with Assassin's Creed, and then not do it here with the microtransactions.
But here's the difference in the debate, though, Joshy. In this case, well, first of all, let's talk about Madden and the NBA 2K series. That has real gambling, effectively. You put real world money, like here's $1 coin, you put this into buying your microtransaction, except for it's hidden in a slot machine or card pack. So you're actually gambling with real world currency at that point that you're putting into the game in those games. We're talking about simulated gambling here with Assassin's Creed. So if this game does have simulated gambling, it gets AO. What's going to stop the ESRB from making Pokemon games adults only? Have fun telling Nintendo that their Pokemon exclusive games are for adults only. ESRB, have fun with that, by the way, if that's the path you're going here. What I'm going to do is grab my popcorn and enjoy the show and enjoy the fireworks.
There's an entire list of games that have no business being rated AO because of the way they treat AO games. Yeah. The way they treat AO games are basically the same way that video rental stores treated porn. Same way. You can barely get them. You have to order them specifically online usually. And even when you could get them in stores, they were under lock and key. Absolutely no non-adult could even look at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's the way they're still treated. Okay? So to have all these games suddenly fall under AO rating is really a stupid idea. Because you're going to end up with games, like you even said, even Animal Crossing. Things would get an AO rating. And there's dozens and dozens of games that we call innocuous, kid-friendly games that would get AO ratings.
Yeah, and for those watching, Norda's talking about something that I said off stream. So
sure, no, but it's a worthwhile example. Yeah. It's a crazy example, but it's still the case. If ESRB wants to make any type of gambling an automatic AO rating, mm-hmm. they're going to have to throw hundreds of games into that category that have no business in that category.
And some that are rated T for teen, or even that are rightly rated E for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And the point here is that they could easily just stamp anything with gambling in M. And literally none of us are complaining. If they ever stamped M on Assassin's Creed, everyone would be like, good. Every other game in the series is M. Why not? Just stamp it M and go on. What's with the AO segment? Like, nothing needed to change. Who was complaining?
Except for now appearing on platforms, it says rating pending for this Assassin's Creed game. Which
Sure, because then you have to go back to the drawing board and have discussions and panels and a council over it and all this other stuff.
But in also talking about it, what really also should be talked about is the direction that the next Assassin's Creed game is going. It's going back to its roots, akin to Assassin's Creed 1, supposedly.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
that's good.
I heard that they were trying to move it as an online multiplayer sort of a thing. They were trying to make more like an ESO for Assassin's Creed.
Which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing if it's done right.
Well, I mean, they could easily just call it Assassin's Creed Online and just go with it. If that's what they're really trying to create, it doesn't make any sense to me.
All I know is this, that, well, first of all, it's Ubisoft, so we know it's going to be like $70 at launch for the base game.
Yeah. Well, that's that's customary for most games these days.
Well,
Battle Royale for Assassin's Creed too.
Well,
Like come behind the
not
enemy and kill them like that.
well.
Yeah. Well, we know there's combat in the game, so it should be pretty simple.
But to be fair, that's not the case when it comes to buying PS4 and Xbox One new games. Those are still $60. It's just the next gen ones that are priced hiked in an economy where everything has gone up in fucking price. Anyway.
Yeah.
And everything is inflated. People don't have enough money to sometimes buy food and things that they actually need. So why would they spend $70 on a fucking game? Anyway.
No. People are tightening their belts, and of course that lends itself to an economics conversation. But in terms of what the industry is charging for their work and what the quality of their work is,
it does not match whatsoever.
It's really gotten out of hand in terms of the price being standardized, but the quality being really off.
Yeah.
With a lot of new titles.
In terms of quality with new next-gen titles, I would say that they aren't even worth the last-gen price in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of quality.
Especially if you're prioritizing your energy bills or whatever.
Yeah, but that's a discussion for the other channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, are you guys hyped or interested in Assassin's Creed Mirage, regardless of what's going on with it?
Technically, I haven't seen the trailer for it yet, though, so I'm not sure.
Technically, I haven't seen the trailer either because I didn't get that far into Ubi Forward yet. But I did want to talk about this because this was a side note from anything they showed at Ubi Forward. So
far, I played at least like 2 to 3 hours of the Rome Assassin's Creed, whatever that's called. That's actually free right now on Xbox.
Probably number 2. Yeah, Brotherhood is also in Rome.
No. Let me see. It's on Game Pass right now.
You're talking about AC Origins.
No, Odyssey.
Well, Odyssey's not
the Rome one.
It's in Greece.
That's Greece, dude.
Yeah, the Greece one. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
They kind of look the same to me, but yeah.
That's why you confused the hell out of me. You said Rome, and I was thinking, okay, well that's those other games.
Well,
no, I tried.
Well, first of all, Origins is also on Game Pass, so.
Yeah.
And it just came free on Game Pass though. But I did try it like a while ago on Redbox for like a day, and I saw how grindy and everything it was, and basically how like SJW it was, and like how like woke it was. So I'm like, all right, I'm done. I played like 2 hours, and then I returned it back to like Redbox. I don't know. I still need to see how this Valhalla is, because basically I just paid for Valhalla and see how this is going. Because basically it depends on like my opinion of Valhalla, how this next game is going to go. But I don't know if they're going to go back to their roots. Then I might into it.
Compared to Odyssey, they toned the wokeness down for Valhalla, but it's still got some elements that you might detect. So it's not completely like the first game or whatever. It's not devoid of wokeism. It's just less than Odyssey.
Also, another thing I want to mention too, but all the new Assassin's Creeds are not exactly like how they used to be, like with the old Assassin's Creeds. Like how like basically they had the history and everything. Where basically you have to read everything and whatnot. Though that was actually pretty cool. That gives you more like a history lesson and like everything. Like this game is just like, okay, here's this person, go get a necklace and whatnot though, and go ahead and beat this guy up. It's just like, it's just creativity is just like gone. So I don't know.
The
like,
two
if they go back
halves-
to their roots, then I'm gonna be into it
Yeah,
though. So I don't
The
know.
two halves of the game ended up damning them in a sense. The whole Desmond Miles thing ended up blowing up completely in their faces because initially they had two ideas of what type of game they wanted to create. At one point, they wanted to create Assassin's Creed, the original game, and just have it be the Altair side of the game.
Yeah.
But they decided to smash that together with the Desmond Miles storyline.
Yeah. And it made the
could've
game
easily been two separate games.
Yeah. And it made it kind of disjointed because of it, for lack of a better term.
It got completely impossible to enjoy the game as they went towards the middle of the series with the titles because you'd have the two halves and they were always struggling to marry the two halves and make it make sense.
Yeah.
And eventually it stopped making sense and it stopped being enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after the Ezio story completely blew up with Revelations.
Yeah.
I mean, people liked Ezio after AC2 and Brotherhood. People liked Ezio Auditore. After Revelations, people were like, this isn't even a hero. This is basically a villain, like anti-hero. But hey, whatever. Their character, I guess they got to destroy it if they wanted to.
But on that note, Nord, are you looking forward to Mirage?
It was nice to see them go a little bit away from the woke stuff with Valhalla, a little bit away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But if they are indeed going back to their actual roots and understanding where they started and trying to emulate it and not just money grab like they always do in the industry, then it'll be very respectable and should be praised if they actually truly do that. Do I believe they will? No, I don't believe any of the gaming industry developers are even capable of going back to that level of gaming greatness. I don't think they're capable.
Yeah.
I don't think they're capable of just making a good fucking story and not trying to be activists about everything. I don't think they're capable anymore.
So your answer is no, you're not looking forward to it.
I'm going to watch it with a careful eye, but I'm not going to get hyped about it.
On that note, something to actually get hyped about, Nintendo did Nintendo Direct, I guess they're called, or still called, I should say, recently, and they ended the stream because the rest of it was really quite boring. I watched the majority of it on Geeks and Gamers channel when they were reacting to it live on their channel, but they closed out with the announcement that they needed to make. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 has a name now. It's called Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and it has a release date for May 5th, 2023.
That is a little.
That's what?
That's a little too soon, in my opinion, though. Because basically, honestly, when was the last one made? Like 2 years ago or something?
The last one came out around the time the Switch was launched, so that was like 2018.
All right. I disregard my last statement, though, because that is actually a lot of time, though. But still, like, honestly, like, I haven't played the last Zelda, or really any Zelda in particular, though, but from what I don't know, some people say that the last Zelda was actually kind of like bare, kind of, I think, though, because basically it's an open world, and basically I guess they were kind of like testing it out, and it's in the waters. Basically, it's like, all right, let's put things here and there and whatnot, though. And basically, I don't know. Some people said it was bare, but some people say it's like basic. I don't know. I've never played the Zelda game, so I do not know. So honestly, like from what it looks like like to be like open world, like up, down, left, right, whatnot, though. And it still seems like more like open world and basically going to be barely any like enemy.
Well, it is
But
supposed to be a
wrong.
sequel to Breath of the Wild, so that would make sense. But what were you gonna say, Nord?
Yeah, I was just going to say that the first Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild came out March 3rd, 2017.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So pretty much the early part of 2017.
But that was still right around launch of
So I believe we're five
of
and
the
a half
system.
years. We're 5.5 years down the road from Breath of the Wild, the first one.
So this is perfect timing then for its sequel at this point.
Sure. And there's been a few little things like Hyrule Warriors that came out in 2020. Okay.
It's not
Obviously,
quite the
that's not
same though.
that's not the big deal. That wasn't hailed quite like this was. It's not as impactful. It wasn't a landmark game
Mm-hmm.
like this was. So there hasn't been much of anything in those 5.5 years.
Personally, my biggest problem with Breath of the Wild was the weapons breaking constantly.
yeah. It was kind of almost like Fallout.
Well,
Well,
I would say it was worse because you would,
yeah.
for example, when using a stick to hit something, you would hit something 5 times and it would just break.
Sure. They made it was a get good game in a Zelda,
However, in Fallout 3, you could pick up another identical weapon, use that to repair your gun.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the case in Breath of the Wild with repairing your weapon.
No. Yeah, it was way different. It was way more challenging.
Yeah.
And the crafting in the game was way, way, way more complex than anything you'd seen in any Zelda game for sure.
Yeah. So on the one hand,
this was the thing I was saying to you off chat, and Breath of the Wild was unlike any other Zelda game that came before it. And a lot of Zelda fans, longtime Zelda fans, said that it was nothing like Zelda. That it was basically not even a Zelda game. It was a Zelda-themed, open world, like almost like fantasy, but Zelda.
Yeah. What's that? What's that?
Barely enemies in the other world.
Almost like if Zelda had been made into a Souls game. It was a lot like that too.
The only 2 Legend of Zelda games that I've ever played or started playing, in the case of both of them, really, was Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild. And between the 2, Breath of the Wild has been my favorite Zelda that I've played thus far. So,
yeah. That's because it follows along with a lot of the other games you like. It's in the same type of style.
Yeah. But the one thing that I hope that the developer for Tears of the Kingdom here, I was trying to remember the name of it. I had to look for it in my notes here, but for Tears of the Kingdom, the one thing that I hope they change is they get rid of the weapon degradation shit for the next game.
They made every single aspect of the game very challenging.
To the point where it was annoying. It was crap, really.
Basically, your baby's your character.
And
there's a certain level of difficulty where you could say it's difficult and maybe rewarding if you're able to overcome challenges. But there's a level of difficulty where it's not rewarding anymore. It's just frustrating. And you don't want your game to cross the line between rewarding and frustrating. Because if all you're doing is getting frustrated, you'll quit.
Yeah.
Here is the frustrating
which is what happened with Elden Ring.
Well, here's the frustrating part about the last Zelda game, from what I've heard. There was like a side quest. This green one guy, I guess, whatever, he was wearing like green or something like that. Whatever his name is, though. But besides that, you had to go do tons of quests to pick up items for him, and then at the end, when you finish the side quest, what does he give you? A piece of literal poop, golden poop. How is that not frustrating? spend hours and hours and hours on the side quest to like go ahead and get his magical fucking piece of like gold or whatever. And all of a sudden, he gives you like a piece of poop, but then basically he's laughing in your face. You're like, basically you wasted your freaking time on this damn game just to get a piece of poop. You know? Like, what the hell?
I can say this though, that I'm not the only one that feels the way that I do about the weapon degradation in Breath of the Wild. Angry Joe and Ryan Kinnell are on my side too, with not liking it. So
sure, it's an unnecessary thing. They could easily just tone down the degradation, and then it would be fine. Like if your weapon breaks less often than it does currently, that would be fine. Literally, no one will complain at that point. Like eventually, we all understand that you can't like beat something with a stick 5,000 times. The stick will break. We get that.
and
Like sticks are not permanently durable, no matter what you whack the stick with.
and you guys know what this means, right? The two most angriest people on the entire internet agree with me. Angry Joe and RKO Post.
Yeah, and the other thing, bro, that they could have done is they could have made this was something they did in Elder Scrolls Online that maybe you don't realize, maybe you don't know, but I do. Is that there are certain weapons with certain enchantments that actually will be more durable than others because of the enchantment. Okay, so and the weapons don't degrade that much, and magical weapons only degrade in terms of magic; they don't break. So ESO did a really good job with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not frustrating. That's just rewarding. Okay. Whereas Breath of the Wild was just especially at the beginning when your character is just starting out, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, because your one weapon, a stick, breaks. Great. Now what am I gonna do?
You're just slapping with your hands at that point.
Yeah, and do basically just walk up and tickle their balls. I don't know.
Sure, and the problem is that you're facing bosses. The boss and puzzle concept.
Yeah.
Which people praise, which is perfectly fine to praise the boss and puzzle concept because that's what made that game unique. But a lot of people with their get good problem, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
the problem of needing to get good or fail and hate the game,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people quit. A lot of people quit get good games. They give up. They just say, I'm not into this shit. It's too hard. And they quit and they move on to something that's easier. Millions of gamers are like that. It happens. It's what the game developer has to try and do is try and understand what it's like to be the gamer on the receiving end of this experience and not make it to the point where it's frustrating you out of playing the game.
Yeah.
So I hope that they do adjust that for the sequel. I really do.
I was just about to go there too, because there is a great base from Breath of the Wild to this new Zelda game. Yeah.
Yep.
I hope they fix the weapon degradation bullshit or get rid of it entirely. My recommendation is just get rid of it. But just build off of what is good and forget about the bullshit from Breath of the Wild. Is what I say.
They could take hints, like I said, they could take hints from games that did it right and just adjust it. They don't have to completely throw out the idea that a weapon might break on you. They can leave that in. They just need to adjust it so it's not completely frustrating. One whack and your weapon is gone.
Yeah.
That type of crap.
Any last minute thoughts on Zelda before we get to Skull and Bones, Josh? Okay. Ubi Forward also happened recently, and they actually talked about Skull and Bones and actually gave a release date. So it's coming out of development hell finally. Because Nord, when was Skull and Bones first teased or introduced at E3 at the time?
Let me look here.
Because it was quite a while ago.
Let's see. The release date you already know.
Yeah.
Yeah, E3's 2017 was when it was announced.
Okay, so the same year that Breath of the Wild came out.
Sure. Yeah. It was July 13th,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, and
Or July somewhere.
yeah, and we heard nothing for years and years until now, and now we actually have a release date for Skull and Bones. Which, for those that don't know what Skull and Bones is, it's basically taking all the pirate stuff from Assassin's Creed Black Flag and making its own game.
Sure. Anybody understands the Skull and Bones reference is the black flag of the pirates.
Yeah, but the
everybody knows that.
But the release date, November 8th of this year, so in just a couple of months.
But they started pre-orders probably like a month ago, I believe, but yet I don't know. Did they actually show any video or game footage or anything like that though? Because
I'm not sure. I did not start watching that thing yet. I will be doing so tonight.
Okay, yeah, because basically,
so I'll get you on that.
It really does. From the gallery of photos they've released, it really does look a lot like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, but just with a more detailed skin and a more
emphasis on pirate stuff.
Yeah, it's very pirate oriented. It doesn't have a backstory except for that.
Basically,
basically
the feeling I get: take Sea of Thieves, give it realistic graphics. There you go. For lack of a better term.
I'm just saying, when they actually put the game up for pre-order like a couple months ago, basically they had no video, no visuals or like pictures or anything like that. Though they basically had like pictures like from when it first came out. So it's like, why put the pre-order when you don't even have like any videos or anything about it though? Like, no info or whatnot though. So basically, like in my opinion, what I'm thinking is going to be like another Cyberpunk though. Like basically we're going to be like beta testers here, or basically maybe alpha testers, because basically they're not even showing anything about it though. They're like, here, pre-order a game and buy it now. Basically, they're not showing anything about it though. So it's like, I'm like questioning a bit about it.
Now, the video that I'm privy to here from July actually show gameplay in parts of it.
There's something here from 11 days ago. Skull and Bones official gameplay demo, 26 minutes, 4K, on the YouTube channel SPD Gaming.
Yeah, there's definitely been some gameplay that they've shown.
Yeah, but still, I think basically we're going to be like alpha testers and whatnot, though. It'll be like a buggy, broken mess when we get it, though, because basically that's like, what is this, 2017? And now we're getting like videos like right now when they put up for pre-order, like probably like 3-4 months ago.
Yeah, we all know.
It just seems a little fishy.
Yeah.
It just seems a little fishy to me. It's like, all right.
I would imagine it's going to look a lot like Black Flag, which is really, I don't know, it's kind of sad that it's going to look as similar to Black Flag as it does. From what I'm seeing, it's very similar. It's like maybe even pathetically similar.
So if this thing...
You're probably gonna,
yeah.
If you're going to play Black Flag, you probably would play this game side by side and go, what the fuck, it's the same game.
So if this thing is anything with online play that Sea of Thieves is, if we can all afford to buy it or make sure all three of us have it, like, for example, if it goes into Game Pass at any point, would you guys be down for playing that together?
No, yeah, well, it's obviously any kind of game like that is worth a shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although it doesn't have a campaign according to what they're telling us.
So it's got to be online only then.
I guess so. I mean, what's to keep the interest if it has no single player campaign?
Well, that's step one into convincing us to play it online together. No single player. Well, what choice do we have now?
Yeah. I mean, it may have themes and whatnot. It may have, I don't know, it may have a storyline, but it doesn't seem like it has, according to what they're saying, it doesn't have a single player campaign, but it may still have a story nonetheless.
So
it sounds weird. But
I don't like how Sea of Thieves wasn't working. They have
Yeah.
Yeah.
to- yeah.
Generally, Sea of Thieves is only fun when you have friends that you're friends with online to play it, because otherwise it's going to suck playing it with randos.
Yeah. Nothing.
Well, yeah, and then you know how I really hope they segregate it too, because when they do cross-play, they have to segregate the PC people, because you know why. I mean, it's 1,000 reasons why.
Bots, cheating, and hackware, and all of that.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Exactly.
Competitiveness goes out the window when you PC along with
With
console.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Speaking of segregating, Frosk.
Yeah, her stupidness.
G4 and her cold as fuck tweets about everyone around her getting let go from G4, but as she put it, I survived. Yeah, you started the fucking cancer at G4, lady.
Yeah, and then she's gonna laugh about them losing their jobs. Like, haha, they lost your jobs because I'm a dumb, a dumb bee.
But the biggest problem for me isn't so much Frost as the fact that they let all the other people go. The one causing all the trouble and hardship and whatever at G4. No, you can stay, which says a lot more about G4 than it does Frost, at least for me. Basically saying that G4 sanctions whatever Frost is doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's wrong with you. They're rotten to the core.
Yeah.
The people in charge are the problem.
Yeah.
How do you fix that? You can't fix that. You can only drown it. You can't put out this fire. You can only drown it in the river.
However, it's not all doom and gloom, because as Jet pointed out on Talking Pinheads, which I was on with him earlier on his channel, so please go follow Jet Sparks 373 on YouTube and go show him some love on his channel. He pointed out that Geeks and Gamers is today what G4 used to be when we were younger. He's absolutely fucking right, folks.
Oh, exactly. Right.
So we don't need G4. We don't need X-Play. We don't need any Attack of the Show. We have Geeks and Gamers, folks.
Yeah. Frost and G4 told all of their non-activist, viewers to go fuck themselves. And, oh my God, they did. And now it's exactly what you asked for.
Mm-hmm.
So now all you have is activists watching your channel, and there's not that many of them. So, well, bye, G4.
And meanwhile, Geeks and Gamers doesn't actually care what your politics are. They just want you to watch and enjoy the content.
Sure,
much like
people who love gaming.
Much like myself, nor Joshi right here on this channel, or on the other channel as well.
Yeah, and people who know how to keep their politics and their gaming separate.
Yeah.
And care about their audience more than to tell them off.
Absolutely. Joshi, anything you want to add?
Oh, I kind of know there's controversy going on for right now. Letting go people or whatnot, though, but I haven't really looked into it, though. Basically, I was off of Twitter. I've seen like some YouTube posts, like on my page or on my phone, like pop up, like say the Frost and whatnot, though, but I didn't actually get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, I checked out Ryan and Jeremy's, and yeah, it was just Ryan and Jeremy's coverage of this situation.
Yeah, it's just a second death. It's just a continuation of the second death of G4.
You mean the third death?
Okay, the third death. Well, whatever, It's like the mummy. It just won't freaking stay dead.
I wasn't aware there was a third one.
Whatever. I'm not sure how many times G4 has tried to rise from the dead, but The old G4 is gone forever. There's no returning to the old
I
G4.
suppose
Some of us need to get over that.
I suppose, Joshy, if you're counting when like Adam Sessler left G4 for Rev 3 games at the time, is that what you're counting as the first death of X-Play in G4?
No, I'm saying the first death was basically when G4 just like all vanished off the like TV and whatnot. I was like, all of a sudden, like you're like, what the hell happened? Like I wasn't too into the internet and whatnot though, and all of a sudden, like, what happened? Like I didn't even know what happened. So that was like basically the first death for me.
Yeah, the first death for me was when they went all corporate at the time back in the day before they first shut their doors. That was the first death for me of G4 because the original G4, when you had like interesting shows like Attack of the Show X-Play and like Ninja Warrior at the time on it, and Most Extreme Elimination Challenge was on there too.
Yep.
That was back when G4 was in its heyday. When X-Play was X-Play, when Attack of the Show was Attack of the Show. And then eventually...
when they focused on entertaining the audience and not, preaching.
Yeah, then shortly thereafter, that's when they shut their doors back in 2013. So...
Yeah, because they had lost their audience. I mean, what happened was the rise of game journalism broke them, in a sense.
Yeah.
Way too many competitors is what happened to the original G4. People watched it, liked it for a long time, but it got stale, and they started doing things no one wanted to see.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was the first death. Okay, and now what I would call the second death was when they tried to come back recently, and Frost decided to set off a grenade on the live program and tell everyone in the audience to go fuck themselves. And we have. And it's still falling from that.
Well, speak for yourself, bro. You went to go fuck yourself. I just went back to watching.
That doesn't mean we did. We just I
ever stopped, but I went back to watching Angry Joe and Geeks and Gamers, which I was still doing anyway.
No, I know, and see that's why they were able. That's why they were, they died in the first place, was because all of these other sources of gaming news and information arose from what they had created.
Yeah, because
created an industry.
Yeah, because when G4 first went under, I went searching for something to replace it. I found Angry Joe and I found Melanie Mac at first.
There's a lot of gaming journalism that sprang from what G4 created.
Mm-hmm.
And, magazines like Game Informer and, a whole bunch of others, they all owe a sort of debt.
Yeah.
To what G4 did in regards to popularizing video games, to the point of being broad culture. They're not just an underculture, a niche, a subculture. No, they're front and center.
Yeah, to the point where
video game culture became front and center.
Yeah, to the point where now companies like IGN and Game Informer are now essentially just extensions of the main gaming industry and just spewing whatever nonsense that they're told to fucking say. Instead,
they went corporate, they went woke and all that, and that's why the main base of the gamers have fallen away into all these alternative channels and alternative journalists, alternative creators, and it's been a boon to all those people. But there's no going back to the old G4, and they didn't know that. Somehow they thought that being completely woke and telling the audience to go after themselves was a good plan. They thought that would work. That all the gamers would be like, oh, okay, I guess I'm a bad person. Thank you for telling me I'm a bad person. Thank you. Like, no, everybody just went away again.
Yeah.
No.
So speaking of alternatives, welcome to the underground, everybody.
Yeah.
And also there's a channel that I spoke of earlier that has a very nice following, a very small channel called Geeks and Fucking Gamers. And then there's basically the man sitting on the mountaintop of, I I don't want to say independent game journalist, but he's at the crossroads of all the bullshit of independent and mainstream game journalism, and that's Angry Joe. He literally lives at bullshit junction.
Yeah, and then there are creators that brought the gaming community through the dark era, so to speak, into the new era, like Razorfist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his videos initially were gaming, and they still half are gaming. Now, obviously, he does political rants all the time, also, but
and those are appreciated too.
And the origin of his channel and his whole shtick was gaming.
Mm-hmm.
He was originally a competition gamer.
So shout out to Razorfist. Go follow Rageaholic on YouTube, guys.
But the thing I was going to say, though, is that it's guys like that took what G4 started so long ago, almost 20 years ago, or about 20 years ago, and brought us through the era when all of that was corporatizing and dying and getting rotted out from underneath, into the new era when the individual gamer can actually speak his mind and make a YouTube video or make any kind of social media video about his gaming likes and his reviews and stuff like we're doing, and get some views, or at least be able to speak a different opinion, unsanitized opinion about things.
Yeah.
And G4 got again caught up in trying to be like Big Tent, but all they did was cut half the tent in half and say that the tent is bigger than it used to be, and therefore that's fine, forgetting that there weren't that many people in the other side of the tent. There weren't that many activist gamers. There aren't that many activist gamers. Most gamers are not activists. Most gamers just want to play games.
Yeah. And that also brings up the other debate that G4 also likes to propagate, that it's a male-dominated whatever. Well, yeah, we know that, and females are not welcome. Well, first of all, that's not fucking true whatsoever.
Yeah, it was never that. But they like to think so because, again, they have a victim complex. And that's true of all activists.
Because look at what happens when we find a nice girl and we find out, wait, she likes the same shit that we do?
Yeah, I mean, we don't kick girls out of the gaming community. We invite them in. Just that not that many of them want to be in it.
Yeah. So when we find someone like Mara Jade Fire or Jade Shadow, Minority Home, Melanie Mack, and so on and so forth, we're like, here, have some money.
And it's not always a manipulation. Sometimes there are some that engage in manipulation in that regard, but a lot of times it's just nice to see a friendly face that isn't a guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yep.
In other words,
the people over 24 think the gaming industry needs to be like exorcised of demons or something. It's a horrible, rotten, dirty place full of evil bastards.
In other words, gaming. Well, I'm not saying that those people don't exist. Everything has people like that, but still, gaming is actually inclusive, as opposed to what the fake woke pieces of shit out there want to say. We're inclusive, except for white people are not welcome. Well, that's not inclusive, motherfuckers.
There's many, many things that can get you thrown out of the woke crowd. They're very touchy.
Yeah, which makes them the most uninclusive group of people on the planet.
That's the irony there. They're the least inclusive group preaching inclusion. It's stupid.
That's like people from Germany, you know who I'm talking about, in the 1940s, preaching about racial equality.
Sure, yeah. It's a great irony, of course.
Yeah. And I was trying to word it that way because we're live on YouTube. On the gaming channel, but it is what it is. But on that note, do you guys have any topics you want to bring up before we start shutting down for the night?
Well, I got one thing.
What's that, Josh?
I don't know. Well, they're saying I've seen today that basically Xbox is going to be paying the same price for their console. So I don't know if that means that PlayStation charging more for their consoles will be coming out or not. But yeah, so far Xbox said that basically they're going to be in the same exact price.
Nord and I covered this like 2 weeks ago. Sony is going to be jacking up the price of the PlayStation 5 around the world except for the United States, according to reports. And Microsoft and Nintendo both said, yeah, we're not raising the price of anything.
Yeah, I'm just now seeing like they like for like this basically it's like so they're like is the price though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is good given the state of the economy and people are tightening their belts just trying to afford food at times.
Yep. And you still can't get a PlayStation, so basically it's like, okay, now it's very, very rare. It's going to be like super expensive.
And that also adds to the discussion that I believe Nord and I had like 2 weeks ago, if I remember correctly, of years after a console launched, the price would go down over time. This is the first time ever in gaming history that a system has been out for years and it's gone up in price. Ever.
The announcement of that was on August 30th.
Yeah.
And it was every market except the US would have a Sony console price increase.
Yeah.
And yeah, Xbox wasn't doing any price increase at all.
In fact, I would dare say that the Switch and the newer Xboxes are due for a price drop at some point in the next year or two. At that point,
all depends on the material sourcing. All depends on the chips and the materials to build them, and the labor, and all that, and all the transportation costs, and everything it takes to get the console on the shelf in front of you.
Yeah.
And then they possibly might make a slim version of the Xbox XS, possibly. They've been doing slim consoles like every so often.
Yeah, and the slim ones were almost always more, prettier than the big ones.
It doesn't
almost always
doesn't mean nothing to me. I spend enough money on consoles. Series X over there where I stream my next gen games, and right behind this screen where you guys are chatting from, my Series S right now. I'm not buying another fucking Xbox anytime soon.
Yeah.
Even if I had the money, I wouldn't. Just like even if I had the money, had the system sitting right in front of me for a PS5, I would go, you know what? Fuck it, I don't care. It's staying on the shelf. In the case of a PS5. Especially since coming this Tuesday, Deathloop to Xbox Series X. So.
Well.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering you're talking a console that's going to set you back $600 or $700.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not exactly nothing, guys.
For that price, for that price, I'm better off buying another gaming laptop for that price.
Yeah.
Well, talking about Deathloop, if you install it on the Game Pass or if you pre-order it, you get a special skin or something like that. I'm trying to install it now, but it's not letting me.
A special skin. Oh, yeah, what joy!
Yeah, I think there's a thing about it. Let me. My internet has been wonky the last couple of days, so I don't know. Like I'm trying to install Deathloop right now, but it's not letting me. It's pre-install. I'm pressing A, and it's not doing jack. Garbage.
Yeah. Garbage. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Nord, do you have any thing that you want to bring up to talk about before we start winding down?
No, I didn't really have any nothing really gaming related to bring up.
All right.
So
on that note, Nord, you got a video coming or anytime soon, or what are you going to be playing anytime soon?
I told you before, I never quite know exactly when I'll be struck by a good idea. I never know. So
I got one.
chances are, if one gets made, will get made without any notice.
The only reason I ask is usually everyone plug their shit at the end of the stream. So.
Oh yeah, well, they from all the other videos we've done, they know where they can find me if they're, a fan of your channel. So.
Yeah.
Well, I got one other thing for the gaming wise. On the games with gold for Xbox, Portal 2 is free.
Yes.
Which is a pretty damn good game.
Yes, we know.
Sure. Landmark game. Yep.
Yep.
I was just letting everybody else know. Just in case if anybody didn't know.
We did cover that last week, I believe, on the channel.
Yep. We were talking about how good inclusion that was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that game is the only reason why the games with gold games are just a hair better than PlayStations for September.
Oh.
Because Portal. Anyway.
Yep.
But Portal 3.
First and foremost, there needs to be a fucking Half-Life 3, all right? So if Valve is going to do anything, do that fucking first.
Yeah. Don't give us more Portal. Give us freaking Half-Life, man.
Yeah. Especially since the last installment of the Half-Life series, and I don't mean the VR Alex shit. I mean a proper console, PC, whatever for Half-Life ended with a cliffhanger.
How could they do this stuff?
You owe it to your fans to finish it. I'm just saying, Valve.
Yeah, but in current situation, circumstance, I guess of right now, an actual game.
Yeah. But on that note, where can people find you since you're not on Twitter anymore, Joshy?
Instagram, where else? YouTube.
That's Joshy064 on YouTube. You can find him on Twitch as well.
Yeah, I do. I am going to go on YouTube here in probably a month or less, though. I got a good package. That's going to be basically an unboxing package. Going to be for a week.
Jet Sparks in the chat. Hey Jet, or Left 4 Dead 3.
Hey there.
He says.
Yeah, that too.
Oh,
but then again, I'm all zombied out at this point too. So what's that, Josh?
I got one other thing too. Well, actually, two things. GoldenEye 007 would be coming out for the in Xbox Game Pass though.
Mm-hmm.
But the only
and that's the other you mentioned also. They're gonna put Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2.
Well, also the kicker about the 007
on Xbox.
No, I don't know if it would be on Xbox. It's just that they were remastering or something.
Okay, because if Pokemon were coming to Xbox, that would be probably, I would say, bigger than Half-Life 3, as far as I'm concerned.
They're coming to Switch. They're coming to Switch. Not
I
Xbox.
was going to say, because Joshie was talking about Game Pass, and then you're like, oh, and there's Pokemon to Xbox? Quit smoking crack.
Well, the only kicker is between the GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo and Xbox, though. The Nintendo's going to be getting the multiplayer, so have fun with that. Basically, online is garbage.
There's one thing, though, that does kind of kneecap the Stadium games on Switch.
Yeah.
And that's that they're not going to have transfers.
From the Game Boy Color games, yeah. That's a given.
Yeah, it's going to kind of knock a little of the magic away.
Which means the superior version is still going to be if you still have your N64.
Yeah.
And the Game Boy games.
Game Boy.
Yeah. What's that, Josh?
There's also another question. I thought that they were going to be coming out with that GoldenEye remake for the Xbox still. So I don't know if that got pushback or if that's like false advertisement or what.
I don't know.
I know the remastered version was going out though. I don't know if they released it or whatnot though, but that's from what I've heard. So but I don't know. But that's all I got. But no, for my YouTube channel, I'll let Drew and know.
As far as as far as your point about GoldenEye, that one is actually going to be on both Switch and Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah. But it's just that the Nintendo's going to have the multiplayer only, so.
Which is stupid because Nintendo doesn't have good multiplayer functionality on their fucking console.
I get it because it was originally a Nintendo game anyway. So
yeah, I get that for that reason, but for the same time, the system that has the best multiplayer functionality, no multiplayer. Okay.
Yeah, one point we should make that's probably already known by most people, I guess, watching this, is that is the third best-selling Nintendo game
of all time. Yeah. Indeed.
And if we want to point to a game that really put the first-person shooter entire genre on the map, that's definitely the game.
Yeah. So on that note, tomorrow there will be no Breaking Rocks because tomorrow night I will be doing a live watch party of the Bears-Packers Week 2 matchup for Sunday Night Football tomorrow night. So hope you guys will check that out and watch the game and interact with me while we're watching the game on our own ends at that point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for my YouTube channel, when I go live or whatnot, I'll keep in touch with Drew and Desert and let them know about my situation with my package, my unboxing though, because basically it's here within a month.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let them know, and whenever they'll know, if they don't mind, they'll go ahead and tweet it out and make the people know that these packages. So basically,
if you're going to be informing us about your package, just no dick pics, please.
It's too big for you to handle.
But on that note, next Sunday night, there won't be one of these streams because I'll be live with Jet Sparks and Bear64 playing Halo Master Chief Collection, specifically Halo 3's multiplayer on his Twitch channel. So stay tuned for that and go follow Jet Sparks 373 over on Twitch.
You mean on Saturday night? Because you said Sunday night. I think you meant Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said Sunday night. That's gonna be football.
Yeah.
We're all tired.
Yeah. And next Sunday night, I will be doing the same thing for Sunday Night Football, except for it's the 49ers versus Broncos.
Yeah.
Next weekend. So stay tuned for that too. And then week 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, that's all I got. Thank you, Rob, i.e. Desert Nord, for being here. Thank you, Joshy, as well, as always.
Yep.
I'm surprised you're awake.
Yeah, I just did 8 hours today. Basically, I did 8 hours.
Oh, that's his buns.
Well, at least it's not 10.
Yeah, usually on Saturdays we usually do 8 instead of a little break though, and we actually got up like a half hour early. A little break today.
Well, ain't you special? But on that note, thank you guys so much for checking this out. Again, next Saturday, I'll see you guys over on Jet's channel on Twitch. Tomorrow night, I'll see you over on my second channel, Drew at Underground, for Sunday Night Football, Bears-Packers. And my starting quarterback in fantasy, Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully he does something this fucking week, Aaron. Just saying. Because I do have you starting, sir, and I will be wearing my Aaron Rodgers t-shirt in the stream. So that should tell you what I want to happen, Bears versus Packers. Go Pack Go, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Later.
Yep. See you guys.
Later.